that? That's old backwash from a dirty bay. That's
I thought I was pouring a tea. I chucked the sachet in, and then I was like, oh, there's no bag in here. And now
is
look.
that Twinings?
No, it's not. It's not. Do you guys have T2 in America, or is that just here?
We still have T Part 1. We don't have T2 yet. But
I don't have time for your antics today, mister.
We threw all T2 into the Boston Harbor.
Yeah, so and that's why it's here. I'm guessing
it finally floated. It floated out of that garbage patch in the Pacific and landed right onto your cuppa.
It's great. Now I can just have a delicious cuppa bay. Welcome back to TCS. I just about said TGS, and this is actually a TCS about the TGS. Welcome back to TCS about the Game Awards. Hopefully you are having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. My name is Josh. I don't know why I'm introducing myself these days.
You always introduce yourself.
It's kind of weird, huh? And I'm partnered here with my second half of TCS, E. George.
E. Rick, E. Greg, E. George, whatever you want to call me. Just be nice.
Today,
and I'll be okay.
I think you were probably Colonel Mustard before this.
Can you make my name for this Ronald Mustard?
Ronald Mustard, I think is probably what it says just above your head. This is, as you have probably guessed already, an episode all about the Game Awards. We streamed the Game Awards live. The TCS boys streamed the Game Awards live yesterday, and it was a stream. I've done a bit of streaming in my time. George has done a lot of streaming in his time. I'm just gonna throw it out there and say this was one of the toughest live streams I've ever done in my career of streaming. On the scale of like streams that are tough to streams that are really easy to stream, I would say this is like definitely down here on the scale. How does it sit for you?
Oh, I've had much worse.
You've had worse? I mean, I've definitely had much worse, but this isn't the worst. This isn't a Mad Max, but this was a pretty rough stream, I would say.
Rough in what sense? Like you had a hard time carrying conversation and enjoying it, or you mean just rough like the content was so uninspiring that you wanted to just turn it off and go to bed?
I think there was a few challenges with it. It was like not quite terrible enough for us to meme on that much. So it was good enough, like competent enough, but I also just didn't want to be watching it either. I was very bored. And I don't know, a lot of our audience, I don't think shared that sentiment because in the comments, people were saying, this is great. But I felt bored. How did you feel?
I felt like, you know, when you're in school and the subject is boring, so you just start causing trouble. Mm-hmm. That's what I felt like. I just wanted to start stirring up trouble and being a troublemaker.
Mischief. You wanted to be a mischievous
boy. I just wanted to talk about Gex and Enter the Gecko and just and dunk on the Game Awards.
I think the last hour or so of it, I think there was a lot of talk about Gex, a lot of sussy buckers. There wasn't as many Game Awards chats going on, even in our chat or from us, I don't think.
No. I did find myself, instead of really wanting to have a structured discussion about the games that were winning and what it meant, it was more like, hey, can you believe someone just did a super chat for $100 and it just says WhatsApp 2? Why are they doing super chats to the Game Awards? First off,
for context, George had the chat for the Game Awards open on his side. I had the chat from our stream open on our side. So he was kind of giving us a bit of a running commentary of like what the vibe was in the Game Awards chat, so we could kind of keep up to play with it, so we could bring some of that energy over to our stream as well. But a lot of it was just incoherent nonsense about WhatsApp 2 coming soon.
GTA 6. Is GTA 6 coming? Is GTA 6 next?
Most asked question.
Even though he absolutely confirmed that it would not be premiered. In his AMA. Jeff 100%. Keighley on Reddit said 100% there will not be a GTA 6 reveal. So
stop asking. Yeah. But people used super chats to ask that question.
There were super chats for where's GTA 6. What was another one? Harry Potter was asked for so much in chat.
I was
Where's Harry
disappointed
Potter?
we didn't see that.
Harry
Honestly.
Potter. Where's Harry Potter? That was just constantly spam.
Yep. And Gex was the other one.
Gex was getting spammed.
There was a lot of talk about Gex, the titular lizard character from the late 90s on the PlayStation and the Nintendo 64. And I don't know why there was so much Gex talk.
I think it's because the Gex emoji is
like
pretty easy. It's good. It's a good emoji. So you can really get it in there.
It had to be people our age though, because Gex is like not something that younger gamers are probably going to be across.
Well, Konami Man said that's a Scott the Woz meme now.
So maybe he's made it a thing. So even though they don't even know what Gex is, people are just making memes about Gex, perhaps?
It's like us with Sussy Bakas. We don't know what that means either. And we just spam it anyway.
I don't know what a sussy baka is at all. If someone in the chat knows what a sussy baka is, could you please let me know? I'm old. George is also old. I think we're both past the sussy baka age, but maybe we're not. I don't know.
There was a lot of Fortnite demands, even though there was Fortnite comments or content. They revealed Fortnite stuff. They're like, more Fortnite. Fortnite, please. Fortnite. Which really surprised me. Would they put the Spiderman in Fortnite?
It was a great trailer though, wasn't it? It was a real
now you can swing. You can swing like the Spiderman.
Yeah, just like the real Spiderman. It was an interesting show. It was long. The show was very long. I think it was
too long.
4 hours or so, almost.
It was about 3.5, I believe.
Yeah, which was probably about 3 hours longer than it needed to be, realistically.
Which is weird because it was long, but also they didn't get all of the captions into the show.
No,
I went back through the winners. There were winners that were definitely not announced.
Yeah, they just announced them on the website or during the pre or post show, apparently.
Right.
So they just don't even feature them all, which is like, so this is rewinding a little bit to last week. I guess we're in the middle of this discussion. This is kind of it's a weird episode of TCS, guys. So this one here is just going to be our thoughts on the Game Awards, basically. I don't know if we're going to do a full recap. We'll talk about some of the highlights and lowlights and things like that. But last week we recorded an episode about like why I don't like the Game Awards and like why there's some challenges with it. And I think it's an interesting discussion if you guys want to go and watch that. I mean, you don't have to. We'll sort of cover it here anyway. But my point was that I made to George was around how like this is a very confused event because it's a awards show like the Oscars, which is sort of a glamorous thing to celebrate the industry from the past 12 months. That's like one part of it. But then the second part of it is a trailer show showing off a lot of new stuff and new content coming, which is probably what's drawing in the majority of the crowds because that's what people care about. And then the other half of it is just straight up commercials for stuff. It's either sponsors and like sponsor reads from Jeff, the host, or just commercials, straight commercials.
Right? Candy Crush was on there, man.
Multiple times, not just once.
It was like, hey, get into Google Play on your phone. You can play Candy Crush now. And you were like, is this a trailer? No, these are just ads.
Yeah, and so that's what makes this a very confusing event for me because it wants to be so many things. They tease it as this big showcase of new content, and they really promote it as that. And I guess that's how Jeff and the entire Game Awards crew get because it's obviously not just Jeff. That's how they get the crowds in, by hyping that hype up. Then the sponsors get on board, obviously, because they have a particular number of viewership. They have commercials and sponsors then getting involved in that. And then there's the actual component of it, the awards, which seems to be probably like the least important aspect of the Game Awards now, unfortunately.
Yeah, especially when you go through the categories and you see what was nominated.
Yeah.
Like you could have just cut the awards out of it and just called it the game showcase that's coming soon. And
like the holiday showcase, or something, right?
Or the Christmas showcase.
That's what I agree, and I think that's probably my biggest issue is that I just don't know what the identity of this thing is. They want to be taken really seriously as this like Oscar-like event for video games, and this is kind of like the Game Awards. This is the pinnacle of what that is for the year, but then it's very hard to take it so seriously when we show a trailer for A Plague's Tale 2, and then we're immediately hit with a Grubhub discount code to use discount code RATKING at checkout to get $5 off.
Speaking of plagues,
why
don't you get some food sent to your house?
So we're celebrating the industry, but then they do something like that which undermines it immediately. It's kind of that old idiom about like YouTubers taking sponsorship deals for just anything that they can get their hands on just for the money. But I just don't think it has a fine balance. And I think if it wants to be taken seriously, doing a trailer for a game and then immediately following it with a Grubhub code, it's laughable, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, there were so many confusing moments that just didn't make sense for gaming. Like when Gimme Money, John Ralphio comes out and he's like, yo, I'm the voice of Sonic.
Yeah.
Also, here's Jim Carrey. And he's like, you put it in the gator. And you're like, what are you talking about?
Jim Carrey absolutely didn't know he was being recorded for that. They're just like, hey, we need you to record something for this thing that's happening. And he was like, yeah, sure. Like, how long? Oh, 30 seconds. All right, sweet.
He didn't even know he was being filmed. He was just hanging out at his house. And someone was like, yeah, this will work. This is good.
Pretty much what it was. So there was definitely some cringy moments like that. And look, there's cringe in the Oscars and there's cringe in like, the Golden Globes and things too. They do have those moments. So like I give some of it a pass. I just think they need to find their footing a little bit. If they want to be really taken seriously as an award show, then go down that avenue. If they don't want to be an award show and they want to be more of a E3, which is basically what it was, then just own that and be that. Like I think that's perfectly fine. Because of that, I'm sitting there just being confused the whole time because we're getting an ad mixed with a game trailer, and then they spam like 30 seconds of awards, and they get through 4 awards, and then we immediately get hit with the Grubhub ad again, and you're like, wait, what did I just watch? So what am I doing now? What are we talking about?
Yeah. And then there's just a bad transition, and it's like, and up next is asbestos.
That is a thing that happened. That is
and you're like, what? What is asbestos?
So like beyond all of that, like I had a pretty bad time because I was paranoid the entire time about copyright claims and strikes and things like that. So we were constantly flicking between our two viewpoints of the us commentating over the stream and then the wide shot of the two of us in the studio just to try and avoid getting hit with as many like claims. And we still got hit with a couple, unfortunately. Like, I'm not sure if that clip is going to make it into this episode, but we actually had the entire episode blocked worldwide because of Warner Brothers, I think, blocked us worldwide because of the clip of The Matrix, which we didn't flick across from quick enough, I guess, or we didn't cut out of the thing. There's nothing I could do about it, so we've just had to kill the entire live stream. It's been deleted, unfortunately.
Fortunately.
Yeah, well, probably fortunately, to be honest. You're probably right. No one wants to watch it. But I think, like, because of that, I had a hard time enjoying it because I was constantly worried, is this going to be the last piece of content I make on YouTube? Is this the end of my YouTube career because of Warner Brothers? So I couldn't relax and enjoy it. And I was just constantly on edge, not knowing if I needed to quickly switch across so that we didn't play a song that was copyrighted.
We'll get better at that if we ever do more stuff like that in the future, though.
Yeah, of course.
It's like I didn't know that was a movie trailer at first. I just kept saying, "What game is this?"
Yeah.
You're like, "No, this is Matrix, Matrix: The Second Coming, or the next Matrix 4." Yeah,
he definitely died at the end of Matrix. Let's not talk about Matrix. I'm not giving them anything because they made my stream get deleted. But this is a unique problem that I have. That's not probably for the audience. So. To like put a bit more of a positive spin on it, let's talk about some of the highlights, I guess, because there's definitely some highlights. I think for me, let's pick like 2 or 3 each. I'll start. One of the big highlights that I really enjoyed was the orchestral playing of all the theme songs from the games that were nominated for Game of the Year, mashed up into one. So if you didn't watch it, we can't play a clip or anything here, but they basically had a full orchestra playing each of the theme songs from the 5 games that were nominated. In this really cool, like, it was just a really, really cool percussion, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the orchestral mashup of all the motifs from the games was very, very nice.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that. That's something I would go look up on YouTube. I still watch halftime shows from Super Bowls.
Sure.
I like stuff like that.
So it's kind of fun. We had a lot of people in our chat commenting that was their least favorite part of the show. Everyone's saying, this is boring. What is this? Whereas George and I are like, this is actually really neat. Like the Ratchet and Clank song in this like orchestral fashion sounded really cool. Mm-hmm. I dug that. I thought that was a neat little moment. So that's one from me.
Do you want me to go too?
No, you go next.
I don't have any. I'm at No,
Oh no.
let me see. Okay. So to play off of the music motif,
Mm-hmm.
the Cuphead DLC. So
Asbestos, yeah.
I I got it. Well, that performance was exciting, but like I had a little different mental process when they were revealing I believe it's called the last course.
Yep.
So there's going to be a bunch of new stages, and that means there's going to be a bunch of new Cuphead songs. And I really like the Cuphead soundtrack a lot. That's actually one of that's the video game that I probably play the most music from when I'm streaming and drumming along to it.
Yep.
Is probably Cuphead or maybe like Friday Night Funkin'. But when there's new stages, there's new stage songs, and I'm just excited to dig into that. I don't know if I'll play the DLC, but I'll definitely listen to the soundtrack.
That's interesting. If you want to check out George's music streams, twitch.tv/egeorge_. And
Yes.
you can check him out over on Twitch. He streams 4 days a week. He's doing a ton of music content over there at the moment. It's really, really cool. He takes song requests. You can play it on the drums, and you can listen to that. So
I've been doing it on YouTube as well.
Yeah, on YouTube.
You know,
Cuphead DLC was
Cuphead
one of your
DLC.
big highlights. That's good. I don't really have much of an affinity to Cuphead. I played it. I didn't enjoy it as much as a lot of other people did. That doesn't mean the game's bad. It just means I didn't enjoy it. Simple as that. Just want to clear myself in the comments so that people don't get upset. My second highlight was an announcement, and it was Alan Wake 2. That was probably the only time I think I emoted like up a little.
You did.
Because
did.
It was quite exciting. Alan Wake is a psychological thriller, I think they called it, and they're leaning into more survival horror on this one. I would say it is probably survival horror anyway. It came out in the original 360, I think back when I was at university. When I was
it had to be what 08, 07, 08 or something like that.
Yeah. It was 360 would have been 2006, 7. Yeah, so probably 08, 09, I would say.
Yeah.
I remember playing it for the first time when I was in university, and I really dug the game. Obviously I'm a big Silent Hill fan. This kind of was a more modern take on Silent Hill from a Western developer rather than a Japanese developer. So I really, really enjoyed it. The remaster obviously came out this year, which was a really good sign that we were getting the sequel. I think it's kind of like we always knew it was coming. We just didn't know when, and finally had a reveal for that. I think it was disappointing not to get a bit more of a firm date. It's a shame that, I famously have a problem with them announcing release dates just way too far out. I think it's unnecessary. I prefer them to reveal a game and say, yeah, it's coming out in 6 months, or like it's coming out at the beginning of next year. I just prefer that style. So it did piss me off a little bit that it's coming out in like 2 years' time. Yeah.
They announced that it's going to be like re-envisioned into like a survival horror, like a survival game.
Yeah, that's what Sam Lake was saying during the stream. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. I did not like Alan Wake.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was either too scary, and then like what I watched, I was like, I don't want to be shooting stuff with flashlights. So I didn't really get into it. I did like Control a lot though.
Yeah, it's very similar to that in terms of storytelling. I think the narrative, the way they tell the narrative is very, very similar.
So the Alan Wake Easter egg in Control, I liked that when I got to that.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know, maybe looking at the remaster that came out earlier on in this year on the PS4 or PS5, I think, with like a new set of eyes, like being your age now, you might enjoy it. Who knows?
Yeah. I might give it a shot. So
Alan Wake 2 was my number 2 pick. How about you?
Oh, is it?
What's your
Mine
name?
is not ranked in
No,
importance, but I do want to. You mentioned Silent Hill. What if I told you some guy in 1999
no
was loosely related to Silent Hill?
Yeah, I don't know what the link there was. What was the relationship?
I think his directorial debut.
So he directed Silent Hill?
Yes. Yeah, the movie. No, the game. And then I think he's credited for director, writer, and background designer for Silent Hill. And they said his directorial debut was horror. All right. So this is Kiichiro Toyama.
Sure.
But we did get debated there when it was like he made his debut with Silent Hill and horror. And they said 20 years later or so, he went in the did his own studio, and now he's got a different horror game, and it's not Silent Hill. It's called Slitterhead.
I cringe every time the name is said. It's hard work. It is really hard work, honestly.
Slitterhead, everyone. Is this thing on?
It's
Slitterhead.
On. It's on. It's on.
But you know what's crazy? The debating is so hard on this. This guy directed Gravity Rush. Like, he's been doing other games that are good between now and then. They just trailered it.
Man, they leaned into that so hard. Because there's been rumors about a Silent Hill remake for, I think, 2 or 3 years now. When I was at Sony, there was rumors about it. So I would assume, I assume it's coming at some stage because it's,
Everyone got really excited when it said, hey, this one guy at one point in 1999
worked on Silent Hill.
Worked around Silent Hill.
They knew what they were doing. There's a marketing guy in a room somewhere who came up with that phrase to put at the start of the trailer to be like, this is how we're going to get people's attention. At the Game Awards, they're going to think it's Silent Hill. It's not going to be Silent Hill. They're going to be disappointed afterwards, but there'll be a moment where they're very excited.
Okay, but to be fair, I thought Slitterhead looked pretty cool. I thought it was a good-looking trailer.
I don't know, man. It looks like any
too much movie.
It looked a lot like a mixture of like Doom and then like every other Japanese like AA style game. Did you not get that vibe?
Like a Animusha.
It screamed like Anarchy Wars to me. I think maybe because of the soundtrack. I don't know if you remember that one. No.
I picked up a lot of Parasite, the anime.
Yeah.
Vibes from it, and
definitely
that perhaps maybe a Parasite style looking game could be out there. It did look spoopity whoopity, and I don't really play a lot of horror games, but I did get kind of excited for it. It looks pretty good, man. I will do this based on the name and meaning the name to you alone. I will get the platinum in this just to be like, sorry, I'm working on your favorite game, and you go, ugh.
500th platinum.
It could be it's gonna be my first platinum. I'm gonna get my first one, and it's gonna be Slitterhead.
Oh man,
that's good.
It's that game. I don't know. The jury's still out on that one. Honestly, I think the name is definitely problematic, but I think who knows if the game's gonna be good. We just don't know yet. That's kind of exciting, I suppose, in itself, because we just don't know anything really about it.
Yeah. What is your next moment that sticks out to you?
The only other thing that I really
is that it? Are you out?
No. The only other thing.
When Reggie showed up, you were excited when Reggie showed up.
I was excited when Reggie showed up, but he was just doing an award, so it wasn't really anything. I enjoyed it when Donald Mustard showed up. I think that was probably the most exciting moment of the stream because when that happened, the chat popped off. This guy got a good old-fashioned bullying from the entire internet for his name.
The show comments, man. Since I had it pulled up, it was just people in all caps saying "mustard!" ! Question mark. Mustard. And then he got dunked on so hard, and he was just out there being like, "Yeah, I'm just here having a good time."
Yeah, he's just. I think it was from Fortnite or something, right? He was from. Who are those guys again? I can't remember their name.
Epic?
Yeah, I think he's from Epic, and he was just. I don't even know what he was actually announcing or talking about, but he just
made him go out there and say, "Tell him your name is Ronald Mustard."
It is a good name. I've never heard of Ronald Mustard before, but he's got completely ripped a new one. So I did enjoy that. It's horrible. Imagine if you were that guy. But I guess, he's out the public eye. I'm sure that he got bullied in high school for the same thing. So I don't know. Maybe he's used to it.
Yeah. Was that it for you?
Yeah, that was my pick. I'm scraping the barrel at this point.
Okay, what about what was the name of that? What was it? Forsaken? Was that the name of that game that had like the steampunkish wizard-like elements? That actually looked pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
I had a few people talk about it over on Twitch today, and then I had someone message me saying, this game looks good. I'm into it. I was pretty into that trailer.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, the problem with that was they didn't show anything like new to me. I'd seen
That's
that
fair.
revealed a while back, and to me, I'm like, yeah, I'm sold on that. So it felt the same. I mean, like that's not taking away from it. I think the game looked good. I'm probably just being overly cynical at this point, but yeah.
That's how I felt about Suicide Squad. Like I was already excited, and I saw the trailer maybe a year ago where they have evil Superman, and then this time it's evil Flash, and I was like, hey, "Come on, guys, let's move this way. Just finish the game or not. Like, quit rolling out other evil Justice League members." You know,
it didn't really do anything for me, honestly. I think that that game looks great. I do think that game genuinely looks really good. I think they have like enough different gameplay variety in there. Looks like a pretty enjoyable universe to explore. The devs have a really proven track record, so I don't expect anything other than a great game. But like it's just, I felt the same. It's like you've shown it to us, like probably way prematurely.
We're really gonna release it.
That's the thing.
We're gonna do it.
That's the thing. And then there was no date or anything on that either. So it's just like, it's coming at some point in the future, but we're gonna probably show you another trailer with evil Batman, I guess, at some point, because that's what they have left. Or Aquaman.
That would never happen. You know that. That
Be realistic, for God's sake.
Come on, with prep time, Batman could never get turned evil. You know that. Unless we're going down a Batman who laughs type scenario, which come on, don't get me started on the Dark Knight Metal.
I have this challenge with a lot of trailers because I've worked in the industry for such a long time. I just feel like these cinematic trailers and like the trailer without a release date on there just shows that the game is far enough out, or there's not enough confidence in it hitting the date that they want to hit. So it's just I can't have it on my radar. So many games come out now that if a game is just like coming out indefinitely, I'm like, cool, I'll forget about you until such time as you have a date and we can actually think about it.
When you see just like Jeff Keighley comes out, he's like, we're really excited. No one leaked this, and you haven't heard this anywhere else. Wonder Woman is coming, and it's just like a lasso.
Yeah,
and you're like, all right,
yeah,
and it's like coming eventually.
But like, it's nothing. It's a concept at this point and a title card, right? It's the same as Wolverine that they announced a few months back at PlayStation's event. It's like, it exists. It's a thing that people are thinking about and they're making. But it's probably coming out in like 5 years' time.
And I wouldn't be surprised if games like that got canceled too.
That happens all the time. It happens all the time. Or they just get delayed indefinitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's
in terms of award winners.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you liked? Because we just talked about the trailer so far. Was there anything that you were really hyped for? Or
I think award winners. Let's talk about Game of the Year because that's probably like the most relevant one. I think that was interesting.
Fair.
I was very surprised by the winner of Game of the Year. So we talked about the nominees last week. I don't have them up in front of me today, but the winner of Game of the Year was It Takes Two, which is I think it's like an EA Swiss, which is like the independent branch of EA published games. It's not actually EA, but EA fund it. It's a weird thing. I'll talk about it in a different video if people are interested. But published by EA Swiss, I believe, and then developed by Joseph Fares, who is essentially like an indie developer who produced the like Brothers, Tale of Two Sons, It's a Way Out, the prison break game, and then now this one. So it's basically a game focused on co-op. There's like a constant split screen, even if you play it online, actual split screen, and you can see what each of the characters are doing. Genuinely shocked that game won Game of the Year. Not because the game's bad, but because it's just not probably the caliber of game I would have anticipated would win Game of the Year.
If you said best indie game or something like that, I'd be like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's officially an indie game, but when you talk about the history of this game lineage, this is not even an innovative concept that this guy is making. He's made this game a bunch of times already. It's just this time it's a married couple.
What I'm
saying?
And the correct release year, like we talked about last week. If this had been any other year, if this was last year, The Last of Us would have cleaned up all the awards like it did. So it just so happened to be 2021 was a pretty average year for games. And I played half of It Takes Two, I think, and I enjoyed the game. It was great. Like there was nothing wrong with it. I think the split screen mechanic and the co-op thing is actually really cool. I do dig it, and I think Joseph Fares is a cool guy. So I'm really happy for him that he won it. I think that's awesome. But it's a very unusual game to win Game of the Year when it's up against things like Metroid, Deathloop, Resident Evil 8, Ratchet and Clank. I think like they're just
Psychonauts 2.
Psychonauts. Well, Psychonauts 2 is probably in the same camp for me, honestly, as that game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's this. It's an unusual pick. I'm shocked. Super happy for Joseph Fares. Super happy for his team because that's awesome. Like that's a massive accomplishment for those guys. But I think it does speak volumes to what 2021 has been in terms of game releases, new game releases, and sort of what a disappointment this year has been, honestly, in terms of game releases.
So like, I did some dirt digging because I was in a Twitch chat. I was being a dirty dog.
Digging a dirty dog hole.
And I was on Twitch talking. Someone was watching the Game Awards on their stream.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to chatting with them about it. And I said,
was this when we were live? You were just chatting to other Twitch streamers?
No, this was this morning for me. So,
okay.
And, but I should have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he said it makes sense that It Takes Two would win since it's fan vote. And I was like, nobody. This is not fan vote.
No, it's not.
I was like, and also that doesn't make sense. Like if you went to everyone that plays video games and quick, without even thinking, what is the game of the year? They would not go, It Takes Two.
No, they would have said Deathloop.
Yeah, they would have said Deathloop or Halo or they would have said something that was probably not even nominated.
Fortnite, yeah.
Vanguard.
It was never going to be that never would have won the community vote ever.
Yeah, so it's 90%. So the jury selects it, then it's 90% jury, 10% fan vote.
That's right, yeah.
So there's no way that fans could meme it in there. No. But if you just gave me a blank sheet of paper and write top 3 games, then we're going to average this all out. I would not have put It Takes Two in there.
No, definitely not. I agree. It's not what I would have picked either. And again, this isn't because we're memeing on the game or dunking on the game. I actually don't even have any witty remarks to make for the game because it's really competent in what it does. Like I don't think the game's bad. I don't think it's as good as his previous one. I think the Prism one was better. But I don't even have anything to say to criticize it. It's not actually that bad. So like it's fully deserving. It's just unfortunate. You know, you look at previous year's winners and it doesn't compare really. Okay, sorry for the weird cut again. I just wanted to pull up the previous year's winners so we can actually have this a bit of a discussion just to kind of illustrate the point because I feel like we're being a little bit negative on It Takes Two when that's not the intention of this at all. So It Takes Two won in 2021. 2020, as we all know, Last of Us Part 2 cleaned up a lot of the awards there. They won that one. 2019, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice won, which was up against Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Smash Bros, which... yeah, I probably expect that. 2018, God of War 1 beat Red Dead, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Celeste. In 2017, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 1, beating out Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, PUBG, and Super Mario Odyssey. 2016, Overwatch 1, beating out Doom, Inside Titanfall 2, and Uncharted 4. So that gives you a little bit more context around previous winners of this award. Which is why it is kind of a big deal for It Takes Two to have won that, right?
See, I wish I could just know why the jury picked It Takes Two. Because I think you could make a good argument for why it should be Game of the Year.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
If you say, well, look, we're looking at Metroid. I mean, that's Metroid. We've got Jack, or we've got the Ratchet and Clank. That's another Ratchet and Clank game. We're talking about a year where everyone is locked inside the house, and you make a delightful co-op game where you could sit with your wife and play games together, and everyone have an enjoyable experience that goes down as an instant classic. That deserves Game of the Year, considering what else other junk was put out there. And if I'm gonna dunk on It Takes Two for being like A Way Out, Brotherhood, then Deathloop is not too different from what is the jump around Assassins game that everyone said it was.
Dishonored,
I'm
right?
blanking.
Dishonored.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, this is just Dishonored.
Yeah,
it's just Dishonored, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So like, no one is really doing anything that's changing the game, but at least It Takes Two is putting some positivity out there where you're where people are saying, "Hey, let's get together and play some games,"
So
So
you
like,
think in context of the year we've had, 2021, pandemic, things like that, it's probably relevant, to be fair. Yeah, I think that's a fair argument to make, I think.
I'm not saying that maybe that's why, but if someone presented that to me, I would take that argument over. Well, just look at the cover of It Takes Two, and then
Yeah.
look at Last of Us and what'd you say, Overwatch and God of War. You
Uh-huh.
know,
Breath of the
okay,
Wild. But
well,
then what about we compare these things, right? We compare all these years and we say this is the pinnacle of this is the peak of gaming in 2021. It Takes Two is the peak of gaming in 2021. We'll put that next to Last of Us Part 2, God of War, Breath of the Wild, Overwatch. Do you think
is that a condemnation of the Game Awards or the year in general, though? I mean, it's
exactly,
is it,
right?
and I'm not saying the games released in the year. That's just a pretty crappy year.
2021 sucked. It's been a terrible year, honestly.
This is not in the contenders list for best year
no
of the 2000s.
year of the game of the year of the year awards. 2021 is, in fact, the entirety of the 2020s. I think at this point are probably going to be a bit of a write-off for year of the year awards.
The decade of the millennium is not going well for the 20s right now. It's not a good look.
And we thought the 2010s were bad, but hey, they weren't that bad, right?
Yeah, I was kind of cleaning up in 2011. All right, I was doing all right. I like 2011, 2012. About 10 years ago, I was nice. All right.
So, yeah. So it's only gone downhill from there, right?
Oh, way downhill. I'm in 2021 mode now.
Yeah, well, I made my YouTube channel in 2020 and I've regretted it ever since. So it's been a rough 2 years for me as well.
I will say that I don't know if it's this way because I haven't watched the game show awards on stream.
Yeah.
But immediate dislike by the chat. Just all blocked of the what? Why are you serious? This is rigged. This is terrible. This is garbage. All the way down.
That's standard.
Yeah, I would assume that's kind of standard, but it seemed really excessive for It Takes Two. Just not one person was like, yay. God of War wins. You got to think some people like, oh yeah, this is good. This is a good deal.
Well, I think normally you have like your standout. Like normally there's like a bit of a broader like standout. You have your kind of like your stands for each of the games. Like when it's a God of War, Red Dead, Mario Odyssey year, you have like your stands in each of those camps who are like, oh yeah, like I'm all about this, and this. So you always have the people complaining when theirs doesn't win. Last year, I think when The Last of Us won that award, a lot of people were upset that like Ghost of Tsushima didn't win that award, for example. I think a lot of people were upset about that.
I was upset when Control didn't win it.
Control didn't win it.
But I didn't have the urge to complain about it in the internet. I just went, shoot. Just went on
with your life. Yeah.
I was gonna get an award for it winning. That's how I felt. I was like, oh, if Control wins, since I finished it, maybe I'm the game of the year now. You're like, no, you're not. You're still a loser.
I think it's well, I mean, you've been creating content online on the internet long enough to understand like what that mentality is, like why people do that. I mean, we could say something right now that would trigger someone, but I think it's the self what is it? The self affirmation or like the confirmation bias of saying like the thing that you liked won game of the year, therefore you are right in liking it, I guess, or like you are justified.
You are the game of the year.
Therefore you are the game of the year. Like George, you played Control, and you enjoyed Control, and you were right in enjoying Control because everyone else agrees that Control was great, rather than just being like, yeah, I played this game that I liked and I dug it. It was pretty good. But everyone wants that. Like I find the same thing when I make videos and I do the recommendations. People are like, why didn't you recommend this game? And it's like, because I don't like that game. That's why I didn't recommend it. I'm not going to recommend a game I don't enjoy. But people are like, but the game's good. Why don't you like it? And it's like, well, because we just don't like everything. I mean, you had a great time with Hood, Outlaws and Legends this year.
I did?
Yeah, you did. Well, okay, fine. You had a great time with Chivalry 2 this year.
I did like Chivalry 2.
And Chivalry 2 is obviously not Game of the Year material, but it's like you had a blast with it. You had a really good time with it.
I felt like it could have won Best Action. I forgot what beat it, but
I think it was multiplayer or something, right? It was like multiplayer game or something.
It was like Best Action multiplayer.
Yeah,
it was Best Action, I think, because it was Back for Blood and Chivalry 2, and then something else won it. But
That's the thing, right? So, like I had the best of times and the worst of times with Call of Duty Black Ops 4 this year. That was my peak and
You
trough of
keep forcing that
2021.
in.
I have to keep mention every time we record a piece of content, we've got to mention Black Ops 2. 4. Black Ops 4. Wasn't Black Ops 2.
So is that your biggest letdown of the Game Awards? Is that nothing went to Call of Duty Black Ops 4?
No, a ongoing multiplayer game,
It's
Black
not
Ops 4
ongoing.
wasn't on there. Well, given how many people were playing goddamn Blackout, it feels pretty ongoing.
It was just you and the squad. It was just you and the boys dropping. There's nobody else playing that game.
You, me, and those monkey feet.
What won best ongoing? That triggered a lot of people too. Oh, Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah,
that was a surprise for me.
It did surprise me too, because I thought Apex probably would have got
I thought
that.
Genshin was gonna win. Whatever that was.
Genshin Impact was also another pretty big meme of the entire thing. Because
it's still going on.
She
Twitch.
Was
People are still saying
the person who announced that was a content creator, or is she a singer, musician, or something? She kept self-promoting her Twitch stream.
I think she's a WNBA player.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think that was the WNBA player.
I had no idea. She was like a Twitch streamer, or they were streaming on Twitch or something. So I assumed they were a gamer of some sort, but then they just mispronounced Genshin Impact horrendously.
Yeah, Genshin.
That was crazy, huh? That was wild. The other thing I want to mention is that like the Content Creator of the Year award, which went to Dream. Despite all the kind of controversy this year about like him cheating a lot. And
it's Dream's year.
It's wild, huh? He had a lot of like negative press this year, and I guess a lot of positive press as well. He won that. I think that is actually a community voted award, that one specifically. But they didn't even get him out for it or anything. They just said like, hey, Content Creator of the Year is Dream, and then moved straight onto an ad for Domino's.
Dream didn't even open the email, man. When they said, hey, Dream, you want to put your mask on and come out here and do a bit? Dream was like,
didn't even bother.
It's like, get out of here, Jeff Keighley.
I thought that was crazy though, that like they just immediately dismissed it. I just feel like they do this award and then they immediately undermine it by just being like, oh, by the way, if you want to order Domino's right now, you can get an extra serving of chicken wings if you order immediately now.
You know, I think that if like Dream responded to the email and said, yeah, I'll come out there, I bet you they would have did something for it.
You reckon?
I bet, because like they're so desperate to have people out there.
Yeah.
And to have interesting things to do, and then Dream showing up would be a viral moment for it. They would definitely do something.
He's a huge creator, so yeah, I think it would. What was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh, the only other thing I wanted to mention was that this was a live event. Like, this was actually a live show that was being held in 2021. And given the last 2 years of what we've had with, PAX being cancelled, E3s being cancelled, E3 going remote, digital, things like that. Same even with GDC going remote, TGS, Tokyo Game Show. It's crazy that this was a live event, and I think that was really cool. It's awesome to see things going back to normal again and seeing people in a crowd not wearing masks, and I just think that's a good thing, right?
Oh, wait. What about, this is totally off topic, but what about when the It Takes Two guy accepted the award and just started cursing like crazy?
Yeah, so do you know what that's
when you mentioned it being live? When you mentioned it being live,
they couldn't cut that. There's nothing they could do about it.
Yeah, because he goes out there and just starts dropping F-bombs like crazy.
So
he's just so overjoyed.
There's context for that. Is that I think about 4 years ago when he was promoting the prison one, the Escape. I keep forgetting the name of that game. A Way Out. And I really like that. I don't know why I forget the name of it.
That's a great game.
He was promoting that before the game came out, and he was at the Game Awards doing one of those teaser trailers where then he came out and spoke afterwards, and he must have had a minute to talk, and he took the microphone and kept talking and like just kept rambling, and they're like, oh, we need to cut away, and he's just like, no, give me another minute. And he'd been drinking a lot and was inebriated. And he just dropped F-bomb after F-bomb, complaining about how like terrible the Oscars are and things like that. So it became a bit of a meme where he's just saying F the Oscars. And I think he held the microphone or whatever it was for like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Like it was way longer than it should have been. It was super awkward. If you want to watch that clip, if you just like look up Joseph Farris Game Awards, I'm sure it'll be everywhere. It's a huge meme. But he basically just said the same line again when he won the award because they couldn't cut away and they kept trying to pull it off him when he was swearing last time as well. And I think that was probably why he came out there and just ran his mouth.
What if they, here's my conspiracy. It Takes Two's Game of the Year just to put him back on the stage to make another Game Awards moment.
I don't believe he thought he was going to win either because it cut to him when they announced his game and he was like slouched in the chair, like the cinema chair. He was like slouched in there. Like he wasn't ready to get up. He was like, man,
I'm a hot dog.
I'm so I'm sick of this. I want to go home. I don't know why I'm here. I hate this. And he seemed like he was bored. And then he's like, won. He was like, whoa, what? And then he was up there. So I don't even think he thought he was going to get it, honestly.
Oh, there was somebody else who did that. They were like, this was unexpected.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, we agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, there was. I can't even think who it was, but there was definitely a few of them, right?
Yeah, there was. God, there was one where the tall woman. It was the really tall woman.
Oh, the Resident Evil?
No. The actually very tall woman who showed up to take an award. It was like, oh, this is unexpected. And the Game Awards chat was like, yo, this woman's 10 foot tall. Like, what the hell?
Lady Demir, what's her name?
Dimitrishu.
Yeah, they're just like, this is the real life version of this woman.
I liked her acceptance too. That was really nice when she went on stage and just talked about how it opened up a lot of opportunities. Smaller things that I liked, the accessibility award that went to Forza for putting full sign language in there. I thought that was awesome.
That's cool.
Bummer. Yeah, the bummer for me was seeing Hellblade 2, how cool it looked.
Yeah.
And the gameplay that I thought was a movie. And Jeff Keighley was like, hey,
this is gameplay.
That's actual gameplay. And then I was like, oh, I can't wait to get the platinum on this. Oh, wait. This is going to be Xbox exclusive, and I don't have one of those.
Yeah, it's that game looked awesome, by the way. It looked really, really good. Who knows about that? Like, Microsoft are being a bit cheeky and releasing content on other platforms, so it would shock me if they did end up releasing it on consoles, like on PlayStation.
Maybe it's a delayed exclusive.
Yeah, perhaps.
You know,
so it's like I would say never, but maybe you should just get an Xbox.
Nah, that's too much. That's too much, man. Get one console and just to play Hellblade, and then get Game Pass. Game Pass is on PC now or something.
PC Pass, right? PC Game Pass.
I need a PC Pass for my wife. I thought it would sound better. I thought it would sound more like a nasty word.
I'm not cutting that out either. We're just gonna leave that in
there. But yeah, I mean, look, honestly, I know you were not as enthused as I was, but at a certain point, I just made it a fun thing for me, and I really enjoyed talking to the chatters that showed up.
No, I agree. I think that part of it was fun.
Getting the memes in there.
That's good. I actually also really enjoyed the fact that you came all the way to Australia to host it with me. I think that was a huge effort on your part.
We could have done that on Zoom, man. It was 2 days for flying, and I was just lost at Bondi Beach. What am I doing? There's snakes everywhere.
What you were doing at Bondi Beach when
it's so far.
Nowhere near Bondi Beach.
It's so
you were miles away from the studio. But it was great to have you here. I was really disappointed that you flew back to America immediately after the awards finished to get back in time.
I wasn't planning to. You were
going to stay, were you?
I was going to stay and enjoy the trip, but because of the awards and how generally unlikable you are, I immediately got on a plane and flew away.
We ended the stream, and normally we would hang out for a little bit after the stream ends, but George just got up immediately. He's like, I got to catch a flight. I'm out of here. So
I'm late. I'm late for a flight.
All the way back to Denver today, which is pretty crazy.
I don't live anywhere near Denver. So, wrapped it back up, got the joke back.
I think that was the highlight. I might mess around with our background for TCS. Are you frozen again? What's going on?
This has not happened for me on Zoom.
The back.
It just turned off and turned on.
Crazy. I might mess around with our background for TCS in the future to see if we can do that shot of us in the studio together. I think that was a cool shot with the both of us just sitting there like commentators. I think I don't know. I might mess around with that a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll see how we go.
Yeah, this is all green back here, so you could really put me anywhere as a. You could put me as a like an on-site correspondent.
That's true. We can. It's mine's not as green, but we could definitely figure out a way of doing it. I've got the green screen that I just pulled down, so we could mess around with that a little bit. I think that's all the Game Awards chat I really have. Honestly, I'll reluctantly stream it again next year, I guess. We had a decent crew of people who seemed to really enjoy it, and honestly, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't bother doing it. So having the regulars in there who are chatting and hanging out with us the entire time, that's the reason we do these things. It's because it's fun to hang out with you guys. And honestly, the memes from you guys in the chat and that was awesome. So thank you.
Aaron was killing it.
Aaron was absolutely killing it.
Aaron was on fire in chat.
Comment of the stream was some of Aaron's Fortnite chat. He had some fantastic Fortnite chat, and then Snoop had was it Snoop who had the line about the pot of greed, which I missed as well, and I really would love to have reused that joke. I feel like I'm going to steal that and use it at some point. It was so good, so good on you for that, and also the donations that came through for us as well. Thank you so much for that too. We really appreciate it. We had some of our Patreon members join the stream, which was brilliant because I don't get to talk to those guys that often. So it's great to have them in there too. Supporters of the channel, obviously, which is fantastic. So thanks to everyone who tuned in and watched. It was a blast. I'm looking at, just on a side note, George and I did prepare my stuff again to stream a bit more, so I could do a bit more streaming, but then full-time employment came along, and unfortunately I've had to kind of pause it for the time being, but I am looking at doing it again at some stage because it's a great way to be able to chat with you guys and hang out with you guys that I just don't get through the YouTube videos, unfortunately. I do miss it, even though I wasn't great at it, so would like to try and get back to that at some point.
Yeah, those were fun streams when you were trying it out over on Twitch, and then the couple of like live shows that you did on YouTube I really enjoyed. So getting back into that would be a good deal.
Maybe even TCS at some point we were discussing, right? That we could look at potentially doing like live TCS. If you guys are interested in that, I'd really be curious to get everyone's thoughts on like a live TCS in the comment section, because I think that could be a cool thing for George and I to explore if people are interested in it.
Yeah, I definitely meant to that. I like the live interaction, especially because you never know where it goes. If someone in chat just makes a pot of greed joke and I just keel over in laughter thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And how it allows the user to draw 2 cards. Then,
exactly. And then immediately discard this card.
Yeah, then discard it.
So yeah, we're going to explore that a little bit. I think going into 22, I'd like to explore some more options with live streaming on a regular basis. But then, looking at maybe doing a monthly live TCS or something like that would be really cool way to kind of chat with everybody. So it'd be great to get everyone's thoughts down below. Likewise, highlights from the Game Awards from people in the comments. It'd be awesome to see what your like highlights and lowlights were. Did you enjoy the show? Did you not enjoy the show? Did you watch the live stream? If you watched the live stream, we want to know about that as well in the comments down below.
Our live stream or the actual show live stream?
I don't care if they watch the actual show live stream, just our live stream.
Okay, because someone is gonna be like, yeah, I did watch it. It was nice. I watched it and donated $100 to say
to say sussy baka.
Yeah, to say also, where are the sussy bakas?
What is a sussy baka? If someone could let me know in the chat down below. I'm old.
You're a sussy baka, and you know it.
I want to know if I'm a sussy baka or not. So could someone please let me know? Aaron normally helps me out with all the young kid memes. Aaron, can you tell me, am I a wait? Where's the microphone? Am I a bloody sussy baka, mate?
You're a mad dog sussy baka, and you know it.
Mad dog. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's episode of TCS. It's been good. It's been a fun chat. I love recording TCS. It's my favorite thing to do. What are
my number 3?
God damn it. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed. Hopefully we have convinced you that this is worth, it's probably not worth subscribing to, but maybe we've convinced you that it is or tricked you into doing it. If you don't enjoy my content, you can go and check out my buddy George's content over on YouTube or on Twitch. His links are in the description down below, but also right below him, he streams 4 days a week over on Twitch doing music content. He's also streaming over on YouTube now as well, doing music content there. He's publishing meme videos about One Piece as well now over on YouTube, which I'm enjoying a lot. Meme Lord himself.
That's not gonna be a thing forever, or maybe it will be.
Maybe it will.
We'll
be.
See.
We'll just see how long it takes Toei to knock on your door.
Because that guy on One Piece made a lot of wax, and No Nut November just ended.
Wow.
There's some collaboration right there for me.
You're working on some new memes right now.
I was watching it like I need to rip this right now because there's some meme action. So
very good. Well, don't forget to subscribe to George. A lot of you guys have been going over there, and the support is immensely appreciated. So thank you for that. Anything else? Anything else from your side? No, nothing else. Cool. Well,
comment your favorite game below and why it's Slitterhead.
Contact. I'm gonna reluctantly leave the final word with George today. George, let's. Well, thank you so much, buddy. What is the final say from you?
Slitterhead.
There was only one correct word.
Slitterhead. It's always Slitterhead.